is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Astronauts to the moon.
Ten, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Not to get off track here, but I feel like we're in the Truman Show, and we're in a snow globe, and they just shook it up.
Welcome to reality.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. You are tuned into your protection from deception right here at truthfrequencyradio.com. And also a big welcome to those listening live on YouTube. You are all tuned into the number one show on Truth Frequency Radio on Monday nights between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. Pacific. That's 9 to 11 Eastern. That show is Jeranism Monday Night Raw, and it starts now. I'm your host, Jaron from Jeranism, and my co-host is none other than David Weiss, creator and owner of the channel DITRH or DITRA or DIRTH. I don't know. It stands for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. And he's very happy to be joining me and also very sorry for his recent outburst at the end of last show. He was been spoke to about that by management. He's here to apologize. He is David Weiss. David, are you ready for your apology?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but you may get your wish tonight, Jaron.
My wish?
Your wish of wishing that I actually fall asleep during the show.
Well, you didn't fall asleep during the intro. And if that
very late at night, all night, for the last couple nights, on a secret project that only you, Paige, Missa, Paul on the Plane, Karen, Robbie, and Curious Jay know about.
So like the entire Flat Earth community.
Pretty much.
Well, I'm very excited about that. First of all, I just wanted to say hello to all those joining, no matter where you might be, especially those who are upside down, maintaining that headache down in Australia, possibly New Zealand. Hello to everyone. But David, let's get into that a little bit. So what is this secret you've been working on? What is going on? I don't know anything about it.
You're lying. And
right,
it is Well, we'll give a couple of hints. It's a project I've been working on that we're going to release at the conference, and everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one for how much? Because that's always my problem.
For free.
For free?
Yes, as long as they have
as they have something. All right. Well, I'll take it.
That's all I can say right now.
If it's free and I want 3, that's all I know.
Yeah, it's free.
All right, so it's free, and it's some sort of teaching tool, I guess.
It's a teaching tool that I think is very cool and very fun, and I think people will like it. And it's free.
Well, here's the way I like to judge things. It's like if it's something I want, then that's pretty cool. And in this case,
that's why I made it. That's why I'm excited, because I made it for me.
I thought you made it for me.
No.
Oh. Well, that's kind of pathetic. I thought it was for me, so now I don't like. No, it's a great item. I can't wait to see it unveiled and see what people think about it. I personally haven't seen anything cooler. That's what I'll say.
All right. Thank you.
So, yeah, that to look forward to. Also, tonight we have a great show coming up. We've got Robbie Davidson, who will be stepping in to join us at the end of the first hour, at the start of the second hour. And, again, this show is being simulcast on YouTube. That is a rare thing. Usually doesn't happen. This show airs every Monday night on TFR, truthfrequencyradio.com or tfrlive.com. And it's always up there for free for a week, so you can listen to that show anytime you want. But we thought we would simulcast tonight, so the entire show will be presented live on YouTube. And if people like it, we might be able to do this weekly. at least half the show, and then if people want to come over, they can come over to TFR. It is free. It's not like you come over and pay anything. Much like the secret that you've been working on, free for everyone. Will it be free for only those who attend the conference? Is that how it works?
No, it's actually free for everybody. The teaching part, it's free. It'll be, I'll give you a hint, it'll have worldwide distribution.
Okay, worldwide distribution.
Yeah.
Thank you for the hint.
That's
All
a
right.
big hint.
That's a big hint. I think
That's a huge hint.
And free.
And free. Now,
Wow,
you
that's
can get some bells and whistles for it for a very inexpensive price, but it's not necessary.
I got it. It's a Jeep.
A
Nope.
Jeep?
Oh, I don't know. That's what I thought. I thought maybe you could pay for a warranty or something. I didn't know what everybody's. I thought you were giving everybody a Jeep. I don't know. Guess not. Okay, guys, it's not a Jeep. We know that. But I don't know what it is.
There you go. I don't know.
I'm excited
That's
to hear
all.
about it.
That's all we'll say. I'm sure half the audience has figured it out, but that's all right. We'll just let
It's
keep
something.
them guessing.
It's something you would use every day. Let's put it that way.
Every day.
Every single day. I agree. So looking
I
forward
don't
to
know
that.
how you would know where you were without it.
No, I have no idea either. Nope. But that's just a few days away, and we're talking about, of course, the 2018 Flat Earth International Conference taking place in less than 2 weeks. Can you believe it?
It's very exciting.
Very exciting.
Looking forward to it so much, to see all the friends that we made last year, new friends. It's just really going to be a great time to be amongst others like ourselves.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Can't wait for it. And just so people know who listen to this show religiously, thank you first and foremost for that. But there will not be a show next week, as I will be on my way to Denver, so there'll be no show next week. But the following week after Denver, as long as David can stay up through it, we may do a show. Are you already parked on your couch? That's the first question.
I do set up on my couch. I'm very comfortable when I do this show. So
Yeah.
I'm sitting here, and Paige is sitting beside me, ignoring me, looking at her phone.
Shout out to Paige. I don't know if she's listening to the show, or she probably can't hear me. Just tell her I said
No,
so.
she's not. I don't have my headphones on. She is listening, because just listening to one side of the show where she can't even hear you makes it really, really bad.
Yeah, I bet. Hearing only your voice over and over again, I would leave. That's all I know.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it'd be the worst thing ever. Let's see here. We got a super chat. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Didn't even think about that. Awesome. So let's talk about a few things, David. First, tell me about our viewing angle, our limited viewing angle. Have you been up to speed on the latest? I've seen so many videos come out about the angle of attack. Do you have any clue what I'm talking about, or is it...
Absolutely. Now, who has brought this to light lately? I know it's not the first time it's been done, but some experiments have come out, and is it not the great Nathan Oakley of the Flat Earth Debate who did this?
It is the great Nathan Oakley from the Flat Earth Debate. No, absolutely. I mean, it's been talked about for the longest time, but I think as far as going and showing a simple example, when I saw his video, I'm pretty sure it was right after that I went outside and did my little test of down the street, saw the same thing, and we've known that that's what happens, but such a simple experiment for people to do. Today I was out there doing it again, and Dave, I don't know if you've done this, but let me give you a homework assignment to everybody listening. If you want to do this tomorrow, it's free, it's easy. Just find a length of about, 20 houses somewhere. It could be 15 homes, talking about down a block, and just stand there and look down that street, and then lay down and put your head to the ground and watch the cars that are 15 or 20 houses away disappear from the bottom up. And
I have a problem with that.
Okay.
Because if the street has any sort of hump to it, and most streets do have some sort of a hump, you can claim that you are putting your head below the level, and so anything on that street that's above your eye will block massive objects behind it, just like your thumb can block out an entire building.
So where do you recommend people do this test?
I think the best place to do it would be in the largest Home Depot on the East Coast,
Isn't
which
that
happens to be
close to a certain David Weiss, friend of the show.
It happens to be about a half a mile from my house, just opened a few months ago, and it has pristine, perfectly level, like glass concrete floors. and the middle aisle, it's open till 11 p.m. Nobody's there. And the middle aisle, it's got to be a half a mile long. I mean, it's not a half a mile, but it's really long.
Did you happen to see the video that was put up, one of the ones I just saw today by Jose J.G. Gonzalez?
That one was amazing. Can you put a link in the chat?
I can and will. Amazing video where he actually was using the light on his cell phone. Is that correct?
Yeah, so he set up I think he did it at a Walmart or somewhere. It wasn't that far, but he used the light on his cell phone, and he had, I'm not sure what kind of camera he had at the other end, but as he brought the cell phone light down to the floor, it literally vanished into the floor.
Yeah, pretty incredible. So you guys got to check that out. But it's something that you can really do yourself. Like Dave said, if you have a Home Depot or somewhere that's got a long aisleway. The scary thing is the first argument from the ballers has been that these floors are bumpy, that they are uneven floors, or that they have some sort of curvature to them, which is quite hilarious if you ask me. It kind of shows some desperation. What do you think, Dave?
Absolute desperation. These floors, you can put marbles on them; they're not going to go anywhere. And as Nathan so politely pointed out when he had his rumpus on the line or wherever it was, where it disappeared before the camera got to the floor. So that would have to be one mighty hump on this mighty flat floor.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I think it always gets me to think that if you picture a long Home Depot and then picture that, keep going. Just keep going. It's a Home Depot that's never ending. It's just a Home Depot forever, that everywhere on that floor a ball earth believer would believe would measure as level. But yet that Home Depot would stretch upside down and come back and hit you in the back of the head after 25,000 miles. But no floor on that entire Home Depot would ever be anything other than level. It seems like such an easy escape, such an easy excuse. It sounds a lot like gravity, the kind of thing that's just employed wherever needed to fix their holes. It sounds a lot like the stars are a minimum of 25 trillion miles away. Pretty convenient when you get to throw in kind of whatever you need when you need it to keep your space religion alive.
You know what? It's even worse about these tests that are going on, and I'm sure more and more people are going to put in, is these things are disappearing from the bottom up without any atmospheric obfuscation. Mm-hmm. So when we're looking at things like the sun, things that are from a celestial point of, from our terrestrial point of view, at something that has a celestial location, there is a whole lot of atmosphere that is being compressed into that horizon line. And so it is not only disappearing because of the angle of attack, it's also disappearing because of this massive amount of atmosphere being compressed into what appears to be horizon. So the fact that we can make things disappear from the bottom up over a cement floor is just, I mean, it's 100 times easier if you add the atmosphere.
Right. I mean, I've seen a lot of videos where, let's say that there's a certain hotel across a big pond or a big lake or ocean or whatever, and they're looking across this hotel, and you can watch the size of the floors as you get down towards the apparent horizon squish. They get smaller and smaller. Of course, this isn't the actual design of the hotel. All the floors are of equal height. But when you're looking across and you're starting to get into that band of atmosphere that sits right above the water, what you get is a squished appearance of everything that's behind it. So once you add that into it, it should become apparent to people what's going on here. And when you start to factor in the lies that we were told, I'm talking about water going down the opposite way in the other hemisphere, and add to those, the boat going. I mean, that's their number one proof, is that boats go over the curvature of the earth. That's their proof of curvature, and yet it's been proven, hands down, that that's not what takes place. There's not even videos.
I love when they see something like a building where a couple floors are missing on the building, and they're like, "Oh, that's it, curvature. The earth is a ball, and you're a flat tard." When in reality, 3/4 of the building should be missing. And then the next day, when you look at that same building, you can see more floors. And the next day, you can see less floors. And the next day, you can see the trees.
Right.
And then the floors, you can see that they're compressed in the same. If you look at 2 floors on the top, there's 7 floors in that amount of space near the bottom being compressed. And they're like, oh, that's curvature. Mm-hmm. I didn't know the world flexes like that. It must be like a water ball in the ISS flexing around with not equal curvature.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they say about that. I mean, once you watch the Skunk Bay footage, then you need to recognize what's going on. And I think that's the problem, is that too many people are stuck into what they think they've been told what goes on. But when you watch some of that footage and you see that the water rises and falls just in a matter of a day, just because of the temperature of the day, you see it rise what looks like tons of feet. I mean, if you were to count how many feet that rises in the Skunk Bay footage, I mean, it's a lot. So I just think people are missing that point amongst many others. Go ahead.
The Skunk Bay footage is the one over that lake where the time lapse over the day, where the entire skyline disappears and it goes up and down. That one,
yeah.
That the Skunk Bay, wanted to know the name of it.
Yeah, Skunk Bay. That's wherever that is. Mm-hmm.
So I have a call on, now that there's so many P900s and P1000s out there. Anybody that has access to a lake, to a non-tidal body of water, where they can, on a clear day, and they set up your tripod, zoom in on a shoreline. That's not even that far across. How many miles do you think that is?
Not very many, but that is tidal. I mean,
it is tidal.
I think so. It's a bay. I would assume it's just like the Monterey Bay, which we have tides that come in and out of here.
All right. Well, either way,
right.
it doesn't explain the entire buildings disappearing unless the tide covers the buildings.
Right.
But so that makes it even easier. But the thing is, the reason people don't see that every day is because nobody sits there and stares at it all day. And then most people that have cameras don't sit there with extra battery packs and take the time to do it. But if somebody makes a project, does it for a day, we could have tons of footage like this, because I believe this happens almost every day.
Well, and I think the same thing. And I think it's time also, if people call out for people with P900s or P1000s who live in Australia or New Zealand, right now is the time where the sun should set right to left, as it would in the south, and should continue going, as it needs to go around the ball in that direction. Yet quite a few videos have shown when people leave the time lapse on long enough, and again, it's the same kind of thing. The reason nobody's ever seen this before is because people film time lapses of the sunset, but as soon as the sun sets, they turn their time lapse off. Well, what I'm noticing happening, and friend of the show, Mitchell from Australia, has also shown this and seen this, as well as quite a few other people. But what's happening is it appears that the sun is setting right to left, and then if you continue to keep playing your time lapse or keep recording the time lapse, you'll actually see that sun come back to the right. And if that's true, and we get more evidence of that, and it's not just a fluke on a few videos, and it's something that happens regularly, that's devastating to the ball. There's no reason why the light would continue off to the right. So it's kind of the same thing where people are not used to seeing it because they won't, most people don't watch a sunset and then stay around for 2 hours after. And that's really what needs to happen, is you need to keep your time lapse, maybe start it right at the point where the disk of the sun seems to hit the cloud deck or seems to hit the horizon. And as soon as that happens, if you start your time lapse, it will swing off to the right. So I don't know if you've seen that. Yeah,
time lapse video. There's one time lapse of Chicago where it goes into the evening, and that one's pretty cool. But I just think we can catch a lot more like this Skunk Bay, maybe even better. I'm right on the Long Island Sound, so there's no reason I shouldn't do it. I just need to find a day where it's clear and I can set up and hang out all day.
Yeah, also, I don't know if you've tried the time-lapse feature. It seems that whenever I try the time-lapse, my battery dies pretty quick. I don't know what...
You do need multiple batteries. You have to have a battery pack. So while the camera's going, you can just plug in, if you have like one of those big iPhone chargers,
right,
plug that into the camera to keep it going.
Right, so people will need to do that. So before we go to our first break, I did want to mention that if people want to call in, we will be taking calls at least until the end of the first hour and then also into the last hour. if we need to, but you can call in if you want, 213-233-3998. That phone number again is 213-233-3998 or 1-866-26-TRUTH if that's any easier for you. Dave, did you hear the exciting news that Starman, the Tesla Roadster, has passed Mars?
That's fantastic. Now, I heard it's coming back. Is he taking a hair turn to the left or to the right? How's that working?
I don't know. I'd need to grab a telescope, I guess, and maybe I'd be able to see it and track it.
I mean, it has to be true because they do have those circles, and they show the red circle that shows where he is.
Well, I saw it on TV. It's definitely true. I saw the red Tesla with the Earth going around it, behind it. Couldn't have possibly been faked. Couldn't have possibly been done right in our faces as probably the most ludicrous thing I've ever seen. Hey,
Yeah,
did I tell you? I don't know if
people still believe it.
And people still believe it. One of my favorite shirts, and thank you, by the way, to anyone who's ever bought one of the shirts that are offered at the bottom of YouTube videos. I made some shirts and was upset recently that I looked there and I said, well, where's the shirt I made with the Tesla car? And did I tell you, Dave, it was denied.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I had a great picture. It was, the Starman in space with the Earth behind it, and it said, you can tell it's real because it looks so fake. And then Elon Musk, since he said the quote, and it was, rudely denied. So pretty sad. But if I can maybe I'll try it again. What do you think? Leave out the Elon Musk name, and maybe it'll go through.
Yeah, and put a different title on it. Like when I tried to do great dictators, fallen dictators, and I had a Gaddafi shirt, they wouldn't do it. Then I just changed the name of it. I said, I just called it Fallen Dictators of the Middle East, and then they allowed me to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've heard my videos about it and my discussions about it, but I think that is the worst quote in the history of the world. I really can't think of anything worse than you can tell it's real because it looks so fake. I've never heard any such nonsense. You?
It's a top in my book.
Yeah, top of my book too. So, and about the conference, just wanted to mention to everyone before we hit this break that Wednesday we'll be meeting at the Denver Billboard, and I have a video on my channel, Jeranism, that will give you all the exactitudes about that. I did have some people asking questions about what you mean by signs, Dave. So what kind of signs are you talking that you want people to bring?
If you could just bring a sign, like like you're protesting somewhere, but nothing with small type, just like, it's flat, flat Earth,
So not a sign with the 200 proofs.
No, not two. You can write whatever. You want people to be able to see it when they're driving by.
Okay.
And we're gonna do so. We're gonna have. I bet there'll be a bunch of drones there live streaming. So we're gonna just try to make this as big of an event as possible.
Okay, and the easiest method I think to do that is to meet at the hotel at 2:00. So if you're going to Denver, we're talking Wednesday, 2 p.m. Meet at the conference hotel, and from there we'll kind of caravan over to the conference. To the billboard, and like Dave said, we'll have drones up and signs, and people will be live streaming, and it will be a ton of fun.
And anyone that has a car, is renting a car, drove there. That's what we did in North Carolina. So more people that are driving that can bring people over. That'll be great because it's kind of a tough destination to tell an Uber that you're going to, because you kind of need an exact address.
Yeah, I think it'd be easier if we follow each other, or you can watch my video. I kind of tried to give directions, which are not the easiest because it is on a on-ramp to a freeway, and you got to kind of pull off of it, and there's really only one way to get there. So anyway, check out the channel on my Jeranism channel called Flat Earth International Conference Billboard Meetup.
Yeah, that's you're gonna really want that video and directions by you and Cammy made me realize that I got to follow somebody. There's no way I can get there from that video.
I would not dare tell people how many times I had to talk to Cammy personally to get the directions correctly.
I lost you halfway through that. I'm like, I'm not even going to the billboard. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, no, you're going to be there. You're just going to have to follow one of us that knows how to get there, and you'll just have to get in line. So,
right. And then follow the FE podcast for last minute info.
Correct.
We'll be doing something. Now, is there snow in Denver? I just watched a video today, and it looked like there was snow in Denver.
Jeez, I think I looked at the forecast and I saw the same.
Bob, is there snow in Denver?
Bob, is there snow in Denver? I'm hoping not, because I really am not ready for snow.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in California. It's not quite ever snowy here. So, at least in the lower parts. So,
no,
anyway,
but bring boots. You got to have a good pair of boots.
Some
no
Timberlands?
Snow yet. No snow yet.
Is that Timberlands? Is that what you're looking for snow boots?
I actually have almost like snowboarding boots that I'll be wearing.
Okay, great. I obviously have some shopping to do, so but that is coming up, and I hope you guys are joining us. It should be a lot of fun, and we'll talk a lot about that when Robbie comes on. We're actually going to talk about this mystery guest. I mean, Dave, I told you to get ready for some guesses. Do you have some guesses in mind for Robbie of who this supposed million fan attendee will be?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so that's coming up at
I have some great guesses.
You have some great guesses. I got some myself. I think maybe we'll figure it out between us two. That's the hope. But we'll have Robbie on again at 7 p.m. Pacific, so don't miss that. And I should probably make sure. Oh, and we do have some phone calls lined up. So, yeah, when we get back from break, we'll take some phone calls. And I still want to talk a little bit more about this angle of attack. Again, shout out to Nathan Oakley over at the Flat Earth Debate channel, or the Flat Earth Debates. It's actually on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel. But it's been interesting to see some of the responses. And again, I think you were talking about Rumpus. And he came in and seemed to say that floors are all curved. So talk about that and more. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw.
This is Elizabeth McCabe, aka Lucky One of Truth Frequency News. I wanted to tell you all about Extendivite from HeartDrop.com. Y'all know I check everything before I air it. When I heard about Extendivite on TFR, I went to HeartDrop.com and started my research. It's got cayenne. That's good for blood and circulation. It stimulates the blood flow. It's got garlic, which fights bacteria like antibiotics, and it lowers the cholesterol and blood pressure. It also has milk thistle, which is the best detox for liver. I couldn't wait to try it out, and I'm glad I did 4 months ago. And here's the obvious results. My hands and feet don't get cold anymore. The varicose veins have faded too. My wrists don't hurt after typing all day. Now I tell you all this because it's true and I want you to really live life. Try Extendivite. Go to heartdrop.com and order it.
Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid. Call now. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Ew, yuck. They're unhealthy. Bugs. I hate bugs. Our home is clean, but occasionally bugs show up. Well, I found something that is tougher than bugs. Orange Guard. From contact, it kills bugs. Plus, Orange Guard kills hidden bugs and keeps new bugs away for weeks. The ingredients in Orange Guard are on the FDA generally regarded as safe list. So Orange Guard may be used around food, humans, and pets. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Orange Guard. Available at orangeguard.com and Ace Hardware.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Jim Ram, retired. In early 2012, I was facing a laundry list of chronic health conditions that my physician was telling me were incurable. I knew there had to be a better way, and I learned how I could reverse every one of my ailments with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. In just a few months, I was able to reverse high blood pressure, gastric reflux, sleep apnea, arthritis, degenerative disc disease, heart arrhythmia, AFib, and many more. And I've lost over 70 pounds and kept it off. Now I'm hosting a radio program that's dedicated to helping my listeners do the same. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're sick of being used as an ATM by your doctor, then you'll want to tune into the Your DIY Health radio program here on Truth Frequency Radio every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern and 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific.
You're listening to the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Appreciate everyone joining us. Should be a fun show. We got Robbie Davidson coming up at the end of this half hour to talk about the Flat Earth Conference. We've got an apology from David Weiss coming up for calling me a Jesuit.
Do you know what the worst thing?
I was doing my intro. That was my comeback.
Go into this whole apology thing. I just can't hear you.
Oh.
I thought you were done.
I thought you were going to apologize. So go ahead. That's what you interrupted to apologize. I'll allow it.
So remember the voicemail, the voice message I got from the great Iro Landucci from the shower?
I do remember the great message. Yes, I do.
And I told you that the visual in my head I can't get rid of. Well,
it's strange, but yeah, I do remember that.
He tried to explain to me how he has this little shelf where he can put his phone. Remember he told you about the little shelf? Well, he just now on Skype sent me a video message of him from the shower talking and showing me where the shelf was.
This is not the show to talk about that. Wait, is he clothed in the video message?
Luckily, I couldn't see him except like in a reflection maybe, but he's showing me his in the shower with the shower running. I got to see his whole bathroom and where he puts his phone.
Was he clothed was the question I asked.
He was in the shower, so I'm guessing no.
Okay. This has to stop. I don't know if anybody else does that out there. I tend to not make calls from the shower. You, David?
I think it has to do with being that far out on the merry-go-round, the spinning world, and maybe the blood doesn't flow to his brain properly.
Well, we know that. He is in Argentina, so he's askew to us.
His angular speed is much faster than ours.
Right. Perpendicular and all. So, yeah, that must be it, I guess. I don't know. I do not make any calls from the shower myself. But yeah, I guess some people do. Hey, did you check out the latest video from Rodrigo Nunez, the PhD scientist who covered the article from the New Yorker?
I did. He's very methodical. It's very good. A lot of people are mirroring it. I watched it, and it's great. I wish he could come to the conference. It's just a little far and costly for him.
All right. Well, I would like to see him. I thought it was a fair piece again, going after the article we're talking about. If you look up the New Yorker, looking for life on a flat Earth, a pretty shitty overall article written, and I'm glad Rodrigo covered it. He is a PhD anthropologist and has been looking into the flat Earth and talked to quite a few of us, made a few videos. This is just another basically going through the tactics used by this particular person who I never saw. Do you know who wrote this article? Do you remember talking to him at all? He quotes quite a few people in his article and we're talking about the Flat Earth Conference in North Carolina. Do you remember who this was?
Who wrote the New Yorker article?
Yeah, because he says he was there.
I don't know who it was, but he's dead to me.
Yeah, yeah, me as well. Yeah, I mean, he totally misquotes me quite a few times, and he never talked to me. So I'm guessing that all the quotes that he takes of mine are from my speech, but often refers to other people, and it looks like somebody actually did a video, David. I don't know if you saw it, just railing me for my telling of the story about this blue car that's in this article. And they did this whole video thing, and they, I can't believe jeranism said this, and he needs to learn to watch his mouth if he's being interviewed. And the article is not even quoting me as saying anything about that. It was somebody that says, I ran into another video maker in the hallway, and then he goes on, but he was just talking about me, quoting me. So overall, I just disliked the entire article. I thought it was hard to follow. He was jumping between all of us, just saying some nonsense. And of course, anytime we put up a good argument for Flat Earth, rather than cover the argument, he would just immediately attack the person. And I thought that Nunes did a good job of going through and pointing that out, where he'll basically make a claim that either Daryl Marble or Mark Sargent or myself made, and then he'll follow it up with a ridicule of us personally, rather than even addressing the topic. So did you read it the same way?
Yeah, kind of. The thinking about the New Yorker, I look at it just like the New York Times. These are top of the elite propaganda vehicles, and that article, I think, was purposely crafted to do as much damage as it could to Flat Earth. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, to do as much damage as it could. No, it makes sure that anybody who reads it walks away thinking it's silly. So, I mean, could it have
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the damage.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that's why it's written. I don't think anybody could say anything different, and it puts it out there into everybody's eyes. And there's so many people who just believe everything that they read and everything that they see on mainstream news or in these media markets. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it's designed for. It's meant to make you read it and really laugh at the idea. And, of course, he brings up some of the arguments, but, again, follows them up with an attack on somebody's, personally, which isn't really a good argument. It's considered a fallacy in every debate I've ever heard of. And so that's basically what he does throughout the whole thing, or building straw man arguments, which is another tactic by globe believers that they use constantly. Whether it's making an entire hangout about, jeranism says that, or Jaron says that the entire circumference of the flat Earth is 80,000 miles, and then going on and on about that and things I've never said. So, yeah, it's definitely a hit piece, and I thought Nunes did a good job of at least pointing out some of the tactics that the writer used in an attempt to kind of make us look like idiots.
Yeah, so I like the fact that he went after him methodically, and now be done with it. And now let's just get back to what we do best, which is exposing the lies and showing the truth. And the less energy we give to these deceivers, the better. I was talking about it. I was on the FE Core chat, and there was a discussion over Globusters' presentation yesterday against Sly Sparkane. And my comment was, I wouldn't even know who Sly Sparkane was if it wasn't for people giving him attention. With that said, once in a while, it's good to give him a smackdown. Like I did my Red's Rhetoric smackdown not too long ago, but I don't care on Red's response. I don't even know what his response was because I don't really ever listen to him except out of morbid curiosity once in a blue moon.
Well, even I don't do that anymore. So I mean,
right, yeah.
The morbid curiosity is gone.
You would say something, I'm like, oh, now I got to watch this or something. But they inspire us to put out even better information. I just suggest, for myself at least, if I do hear some ridiculous baller claims, I know that's redundant, that instead of responding to them, respond to the flat Earth people, the people that want to learn about flat Earth, and just put the information out there and ignore the ballers. If they put out a challenge and it's something that that you can beat, don't respond to them. Just respond to the flat Earth community. Say, hey, I figured out how an equatorial mount could work. In that presentation, somebody please take that and put it into a shorter video because that was really fantastic. Yesterday.
Yeah, Dave's talking about Globusters yesterday, which was another 4-hour show. So we thought we were going to take that show down to 2 hours, and we've done a terrible job as of yet. But if you have 4 hours or you want to watch it in segments or do as David Weiss does so that we sound at least somewhat intelligent, and that's listen to it at double speed. So, David, what else do we have to talk about? I was going to say something, and I just lost it. Oh, no, I remember. It was two people I wanted to shout out. First is Andrew Lanks. He is the channel owner of Friend of Yahweh. Has done some fantastic videos. People might remember he was the scientist that went down to the South Pole to take the 24-hour video footage of the sun. He was also Harrison Hanks, the crisis actor. He was also he also did a Mission to Mars video. He's done a ton of stuff, and he needs help to get to the Flat Earth Conference. So
he's also the one that made our incredible conference brochures that you'll be getting, the directories of what's going to be going on. And he also helped me tremendously with my surprise.
All right. Amongst many other things. I mean, we could continue naming all the things that he's done. He's done some great videos. And really just done a fantastic job in the community. Put money into videos like I don't think anybody else has done. David, you?
No, he found a clip on when Curious Jay told the story about tilting the marshmallow.
Right.
Tilt the marshmallow, Charlie. He thought that was the funniest thing ever. He hired actors. He spent 2 days building a set in the woods, a camping set, and he filmed and made this 1 minute video.
Right.
At his own expense, just to make the point, and his production value is so good, and he needs to be there. So if everyone in the chat, could just donate $5, that would do it. That would more than do it.
Yeah, I think so. You can go to GoFundMe and just look up Friend of Yahweh or Andrew Lanks. Go ahead.
I put the link in the chat on your channel.
Oh, thank you very much. It's in there in the YouTube chat. And so, please head over there if you can donate $5 even. I know it's hard, obviously, to donate money, but I think it's cool when the community can come together with something like that and help somebody out. So it'd be really cool to meet him. So I'm hoping that he ends up going to Denver. I donated a little, saw some quite large donations on there, but he's still not quite there yet, so he could use the help. Also, other shout-outs I wanted to shout out. One of them is Mitchell from Australia. Friend of the show, as always, and also the one who's going to be doing the Torque the Line experiment is needing some volunteers to help him with that experiment. So please, you can either go to Torque the Line Experiment, which is the name of the channel, Torque the Line Experiment, or you can also email torquetheline at gmail.com, and that's torque, Torque, the line at gmail.com, and help him if you can, if you're in the Sydney, Australia area. So he's doing go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to say that this experiment is a great experiment, but the number of volunteers and the not that it's going to be physically hard, but the amount of time and effort it's going to take is a little more than people are realizing. I've been speaking to him about it, and I think he's going to need a minimum of 10 to 15 people, and
I agree, yeah.
he has you're going to be fighting other traffic out there, the light of the day. He wants to start the thing at 3 a.m. You have to deal with weather, you have to deal with everyone's logistics, you have to have food, you have to have communications. There's a lot that needs to be done. So if I was in Australia, I would do it, but it's a commitment. And you really have to. He really needs the help, and I think this is an amazing experiment. So,
yeah, me too. And I think you and I have talked about it quite a bit. In fact, I know we talked about it probably before Mitchell had even heard about it, kind of discussing back and forth how it would work. And the hardest thing was always the logistics of the amount of people you would need, the spotters you would need, the people in the water you would need, and of course, we're talking about the experiment where you take any stretch of water. I think Mitchell's doing it over a stretch of 2.2 miles or something like that. And they're going to be stretching a really strong Spectra fishing line. It's neutrally buoyant and has about a 50 or 75 pound test strength, which means we can stretch it across the water, and we're actually going to have it lying on the water so that there is no sag, and then pull it tight. If the earth is curved like a ball, that line should drop, I believe it's about 8 or 10 inches at the center of that lake, and that's the test he's going to be doing down in Sydney, Australia area. Do you know the name of the lake? I forgot the name.
I do not know.
It's like Lake Winnipoopoo or something. But anyway, check out the Torque the Line experiment channel, and you will be able to get all the details for that. And again, email torquetheline@gmail.com. If you can possibly help, that would be awesome. Let's try taking a call. First call, you're on with jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from?
Jared, you hear me?
We got you.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm a Glober. Okay, so let me get that out of the way.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
So,
I'm just kidding.
on your
What's your globe
line,
proof?
I'm
Can we start with a
gonna
globe
help
proof?
Yeah, let's start with that real quick. Hold on one second. If we were to ask you
Okay,
what your
well-
one reason, if somebody said, give me the one proof, the one test, the one experiment.
Okay, well,
whatever.
it's an observable fact. 15 arc degrees per hour.
What is? Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
He's talking
All right,
about the sun
traverses-
moving 15 degrees per hour,
the
but
sun traversing
Okay.
yes.
So because
Okay.
you're saying that's your belief that we live on a ball is that the sun moves 15 degrees an hour?
Well, it's personally observed. I'm former Navy. I've got a shellback. I've got a blue nose. So I've been below the equator and I've been above the North Pole, and I've seen the sun both times. Okay.
I think I've proven that the sun does not move 15 degrees per hour. It does for most of the day, but if you are on a super clear day at a high altitude, when the sun approaches the horizon, it basically stops and it just sits there until it disappears into the thickness of the atmosphere.
What's the altitude, may I ask?
I was on a super clear day. I was only at 500 meters, looking over, and there was nothing that high for probably several hundred miles. And the sun literally stops on the horizon and sits there for almost 15 minutes.
Until it kind of fades away.
Until
Looks
it
like
not
fizzles.
kind of fades away, until the atmosphere just eats it up before it turns into a dot.
Right, it kind of fizzles out.
It fizzles out. If you go to my channel, DITRH, and look up sun fade out videos, watch all 4 of them 2 or 3 times, then you might start rethinking your 15 degree hour proofs. Now, by the way, the fact that we see the sun move 15 degrees per hour and can explain it on a flat Earth, it can do it on both. The fact that it stops on the horizon just before sunset, and it has to be a super clear day, otherwise it just disappears before it stops by angular, by perspective, going
By what you
behind
call
something that's above your eye
angular
level.
compression. By what you consider atmospheric compression and angular compression.
Well, it's just like if you watch a plane go by a cloud that's in the distance, it gets or by a building in the distance, the plane gets eclipsed by the building. If that building was far enough, it would kind of be compressed into the horizon. But the fact that under the right conditions, with a high def with a 4K camera, super clear day, no humidity, the sun stops just before it hits the horizon and sits there until it disappears. To me, that absolutely proves that the Earth is not a spinning ball.
And I mean, my one thing would be as far as as far as the 15 degrees per hour, if the claim by flat earthers is that the sun makes one turn of a circle in 24 hours, that would be 15 degrees per hour. So I'm confused where that would be a proof of the ball Earth.
Well, the thing about it is that it's no matter the season, no matter the polar angle, okay, on a globe, whether you're winter in North America or you're summer in North America, it wouldn't make a difference. It's still going to traverse everywhere 15 arc minutes per hour.
Okay. Well, what if you're at the North Pole during the southern summer, where they don't see the sun?
Then you're not going to see the sun at all.
Okay. Well, I thought you just said it's always the same, no matter where you're at.
But there's okay. Well, that's kind of a trap question. Okay.
Well, it's your proof. It's not mine. I'm not trapping you. You said 15 degrees per hour
There are other factors at play there.
Okay, but
would you not agree?
I'm just simply saying that was your explanation for
I have a
your
question.
glow proof. Go ahead.
Have you measured it 15 degrees per hour throughout the day? Because to me, I've seen my observations when it's over the top. It sure appears to be going more than 15 degrees in an hour.
I have measured it at 1500 degrees per hour.
How do you explain that it just stops on the horizon before it sets from the videos that I've taken?
It does not.
Well, go. I think before you continue that, you should go to my channel, DITRH, go to my Sun Fade Out playlist, and watch those videos very carefully. And in the links in the description are the unedited, unzoomed in videos if you think I faked them.
I think you faked them. But no, caller, call back in. We'll be back not, like I said, not next week, but the week after. Call back in after you've watched those videos, and then I just want to hear you again tell us that the sun doesn't do what you just said it doesn't do, because David's videos show it doing exactly that. So I think we'll have a better place to start the conversation if you go ahead and call us back in 2 weeks, and then let us know what you thought of those videos. Again, go to DITRH and look up Sun Fade Out videos. Dave, you said there's 4 of them?
There's 4 of them in that playlist. It's easy to do. And Orphan Red in the chat, she says the guy's wrong that the sun moves faster in the winter, and that has been peer-reviewed. It makes sense to me. I haven't seen that peer review, but I trust that she's telling the truth there and have to look into it.
Well, I think that would be true from our point of view if we have shorter days. Right. I mean, obviously, the sun is rising and setting at a lower angle during my winter. And so I would agree with her that it has to move faster for it to get through the sky and me to have a shorter day. But let's go to another caller. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from?
Hey, Jaren. This is Carlos calling again from Alabama. How you doing?
Carlos, what's going on? How are you?
Doing well.
This is to people who haven't heard you call before. You work for DirecTV, correct?
That is correct.
Yep, and are a baller. And again, I know we've asked you before, but your number one proof is because DirecTV works, correct?
Well, that was the previous episode, which I had one answer already set up, and I had to come up with another one, and of course, caught me off guard. But yeah, that would be one. There's others like, for example, like the other guy was talking about the sun. The sun does not change size when it moves from one side to the other one. And I
disagree with that.
Just now.
There's been plenty of videos. Plenty of videos with sun filters that show the sun does change size, and a lot of it has to do with atmospheric magnification. As the sun moves farther away from you and shrinks in perspective, it is also growing due to magnification, and it's different every day. Sometimes it shrinks, sometimes it doesn't. There's also videos on my channel, how the sun sets on a flat Earth, where it shows dry sunsets over a dry plain where the sun shrinks into a little dot before it disappears.
In fact, before Jaron unmuted the call, I was looking at the videos you were referring to earlier with the previous caller, and I did see it, and it would appear that the sun fades. Now, what camera did you use? Was that a drone? Is that correct?
Yeah, that was a DJI Mavic Pro.
It's to me, it seemed. I know you did some digital zooming or cropping, and to me, it seemed like it was a little bit out of focus.
Two of them are in more focus than the other.
I think I've seen the first
again,
three.
Before you continue, the focus, sure, it would be better if they were in great focus, but it doesn't matter. They're out of focus or not. They disappeared into the thickness of the atmosphere. The throw of the sun's light could not punch through what appeared to be a super clear day. And these videos are not to prove that the sun shrinks. That wasn't what I was proving, because I didn't have a solar filter on there, because you can't do it with a solar filter. I actually did it with a solar filter, and the sun disappears long before, because it has to get through the atmosphere and get through that solar filter. It's just not going to happen. A solar filter blinds you to the truth.
True. Yeah, that's true. Because unfortunately, at the end, right before it said, there is a lot of pollution, a lot of concentration of air and then moisture. So it makes it really hard. But what I could see on that footage that you were referring to, it seemed that it was this circle that seemed to fade out was a what do you call it, lens flare from the lens. Now that's what it seemed like to me. And I would love to do. I did actually one of those videos before with my drone. Did not do it with a solar filter, and I want to do a comparison. But that's very interesting.
A solar filter hides the most important part of the sunset. When the sun is at its weakest point, where it's just about to lose its ability to punch through the atmosphere, solar filter cuts off your vision of that long before that happens. So,
Carlos,
the solar filter is good when the sun is high in the sky and you want to see it without glare. But at the last moments of the sun going away, a solar filter blinds you to what's going on.
Carlos, I would want to ask you, with as much stuff as you watch, Flat Earth related content, are you conflicted at all in your belief, or are you just so sure of it and want to tell us all how wrong we are? What is your reason for following so closely this Flat Earth argument?
Well, I think it's multiple things. I don't have a conflict. I find it very interesting. Of course, listening for it for 3 years. Not only is it entertaining, I'm one of those people who like problem solving and troubleshooting. And to me, seeing the flat Earth theory develop, it's a series of troubleshooting, with different problems, different things. And of course, I love puzzles and stuff. And I like to see the interaction.
All right, sorry, we got to go to break, and we're coming back with Robbie Davidson. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Thanks, Carlos.
Well, it comes with cost, a price too large. Cause if we're really just gonna die, I'd rather let stay in school, they say.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
Election day approaches. Election security. I'm Ann Cates. Voter turnout is projected to be the strongest in decades for tomorrow's midterm elections. Correspondent Ryan Nobles reports a key race in Florida has national implications.
The Democrat nominee for governor, Andrew Gillum, the current mayor of Tallahassee, has the opportunity to become Florida's first African-American governor and the first Democrat since the late 90s. His opponent, Ron DeSantis, is hoping to keep the GOP gubernatorial winning streak alive, pumping his support from President Trump and hammering Gillum over an FBI investigation into Tallahassee city government.
There are 36 races for governor around the country. Also in the spotlight on Election Day is the battle for control of Congress, with 35 Senate seats at stake, along with the entire House. The Justice Department is ramping up efforts, meanwhile, to keep the election secure.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions has released a statement that says personnel will be on site at 35 voting locations in 19 states, including Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Sessions says the goal is to protect the rights of millions of Americans to cast their vote, and he added that voter fraud will not be tolerated. The announcement follows an earlier tweet from President Trump that promised maximum criminal penalties for anyone who votes illegally. Linda Kenyon, Washington.
The U.S. has clamped down on Iran.
The United States is now reimposing all sanctions on Iran lifted by the 2015 nuclear deal, sanctioning more than 700 individuals, entities, aircraft, and vessels as part of the U.S. Treasury Department's largest ever single-day action targeting Iran, according to Secretary Steve Mnuchin. These sanctions are now the second round of reimposed penalties since President Trump pulled out of the nuclear deal in May. Omar Jimenez, Washington.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 191 points, the S&P 500 up 15, the Nasdaq closed down 28 points. I'm Ann Cates.
You are now tuned into the Truth Frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
By the 2015 nuclear deal, sanctioning more than 700 individuals, entities, aircraft, and vessels as part of the U.S. Treasury Department's largest ever single-day action targeting Iran, according to Secretary Steve Mnuchin. These sanctions are now the second round of reimposed penalties since President Trump pulled out of the nuclear deal in May. Omar Jimenez, Washington.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 191 points, the S&P 500 up 15, the Nasdaq closed down 28 points. I'm Ann Cates.
You are now tuned into the Truth Frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for joining us. You are listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw. And sorry we didn't, totally different when this is the biggest deception in the world. We're talking about what is being taught to our children. And we're going to be talking a lot about that coming up on November 15th and 16th. That's in Denver, Colorado. We're talking about the Flat Earth International Conference. And on the phone right now, we've got the creator and mastermind of that conference. That is Robbie Davidson. Robbie, are you with us?
I'm here, guys. Thanks so much for having me on.
Awesome to have you. Can you, tell everybody what's coming up and some of the exciting things we can expect?
Well, there's so much, but I wanted to quickly talk about Carlos. I had the pleasure of meeting Carlos in Alabama, and we had a wonderful discussion. And yeah, there is a lot of people out there that, haven't really committed yet, but he's at the point where he's not even teaching his children, one way. He's kind of making sure that he's keeping it open because just in case he doesn't want to be indoctrinating his children. So I thought it was really awesome to meet Carlos and just to hear from his perspective, being on the fence on this, but really curious and wanting to investigate it and get to the truth of the matter. So anyways, I just thought it was cool that you just had him on. And, I was able to have a good in-depth discussion with him when I was at the Skyfall conference. But with Flat Earth International Conference coming up in, 9 days? It's so much. There's just so much going on. I don't know where to start. It's so exciting. This event is going to be like something that I don't think people really expect. The media presence, the documentary crews that are going to be shooting there, from the surprise mystery guests that I was just dialoguing, and we're arranging some more things that are going to be happening at the conference. It's incredibly exciting. I don't know. What all do you want to know?
Well, we want to know who that is. I guess we'll wait a little bit on that. We've got some guesses. Dave and I have both been racking our brains all day to throw some guesses at you. But a question I saw in the chat earlier tonight was people asking, would the conference be available online, and I wanted to give you a chance to tell everybody how much they'll be able to get for free and what exactly they get with the streaming package available right now at fe2018.com.
Sure. I felt it was important to stream the conference on YouTube. We will be streaming about 80% of the conference on YouTube, maybe about 85%. The paid live stream is more of a deluxe version. It's available at fe2018.com. We're going to have exclusive interviews. We're going to have behind the scenes. We're going to have a lot more. We're going to have audience reactions, a lot more than basically just the basic live stream. So it's a way that people can support what we're doing, but also if they don't want to pay or they can't pay, we will be able to have most sessions being streamed on the Flat Earth International Conference YouTube channel.
Well, that'll be awesome. Yeah, so some of I know there's going to be workshops this year. Can you tell us a little bit about what's different this year with workshops versus last year in North Carolina or even more recently in Canada?
Sure. Well, the idea with the workshop or having, dual presentations going on, if something is not for someone, then they have an alternative. For example, a lot of the critiques from last year was there was a lot of religion or there was a lot of Bible. So really, other than Rob Skiba, which Rob Skiba, everyone loves Rob Skiba, so I don't even count him as a biblical guy when it comes to the conference. But most of the sessions, if they have a religious tone, then there'll be something else that will be non-religious that people can check out and vice versa. So I thought it was very important to, have the understanding that this conference is for everyone. It's not just for Bible people. I know what people say all the time that because I'm a Christian, I'm leaning that way heavily. Understand that, yes, I am a Christian, and that represents a big portion of this community, but it's not a fair representation of all the community. So I want to make sure that all beliefs, all different models, everyone has a fair chance, especially if they're doing wonderful work within the community, exposing the world's lies. And we all agree, no matter what our differences are, we all agree that we're not a spinning ball flying through space. And I think that's the most important thing right now when we're moving forward, exposing scientism and NASA.
So even if you're a believer that stars are ethereal beings and that they are souls, you're allowed to attend?
Well, sure. Yeah, you're allowed to attend, but maybe at some point you'll be able to do a workshop on that if some people are interested. I mean, I will go so far as to say that at any point, if someone wants to do a workshop on, say, even Pac-Man, yes, I said Pac-Man theory, well, then it will have a place.
No.
Objection.
Yeah.
No.
That's taking it too far now. Allowing me is one thing, but allowing that is something else.
Like I said, if there's enough demand, what my point is, if there's enough demand for a model, and there's people that are interested that they will want to go to an optional workshop, then there should be that opportunity for those people, especially if that's what they're into. So again, I'm not saying it will make like main stage. I will look at basically the views that are represented on the community and go with that. So when it comes to different models, of course it's going to be more obscure. But for example, even Martin Kenney. I mean, I had a wonderful talk with Martin Kenney because a lot of the rumors were saying that I would never allow him at my conference. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. I thought he did wonderful work. I disagree with his model, but I still think that his model resonates with a lot of people. And I even asked him, do you want to come to the conference? He had declined, but he was really relieved to hear when we get to know each other more that I was definitely open to having him present or having his model represented at the conference.
Well, no, I mean,
Robbie, that's one thing that I just do want to commend you for. Last year was the first year you did it, and there was some Christian stuff there, and the feedback was that it was a little much. So now you're splitting it up. So if somebody wants to go see a presentation at every moment of every day and not see anything Christian other than Rob Skiba, which you're going to force everybody to see, that you've done that. So, and for me to say that it's not too Christian, that means that it's barely Christian at all.
Sure. I mean, if you actually look at the lineup, other than Zen Garcia talking about biblical cosmology, there is really no one on the main stage that's doing anything Bible, other than the Bible panel on the second day. That's a whole bunch of us. But even with that, we give you an alternative to see David Weiss and Matt Long do their awesome
Wait a minute.
stuff.
I wanted to see the Bible panel.
Well, you're on basically there. So if people aren't really into watching the panel, with all of us, I did the same thing in Canada. There was no alternative, but again, I had two different panels. I had one that was kind of the big panel at the end, but before that, I had one because even if people aren't interested, they might be interested to hear what these Bible guys have to say. So again, it just gives that opportunity. But again, they will have an alternative. And yes, you are slated, so you won't be able to catch the Bible panel.
So I have a question. If the majority of the people people are trying to cram into the room with Matt and I. Will you switch rooms so we can have the big room?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're talking like Rob Skiba and you're talking, if you look at the lineup for the Bible panel, I think a lot of people are going to be interested to hear what goes down there because that's open to everyone. I mean, it's just like the panel, that even with, Mark Sargent did the Q&A. We're doing a full Q&A just like, you and Jaron and a bunch after us. The nice thing about that is people can ask us any question, right? So that could even be critiquing the Bible. That could say, hey, how do we know, and being skeptical. So again, I just think it's a fair representation. And yes, other than the Bible panel and Zen Garcia, all the rest have nothing to do with the Bible or Christianity.
So
yeah,
exciting.
It's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a fantastic time. And tell us also. Go ahead.
A shout out to anybody that's going that is bringing materials to to the conference to hand out or anything, and they don't want to take it on the airplane. Send me a message. I'll give you Bob's address, and you can ship it to Bob.
Yeah, he's laughing about that because I saw some pictures of the packages that have already started showing up at Bob's house, and let's just say they're not discreet. They are littered with Flat Earth bumper stickers and stickers all over it. Research Flat Earth. That's a good touch, David.
They must have came with David. I was just about to say those packages would have come from David for sure.
I figure if you're going to send a package, why not every single person that sees that package through the Postal Service gets flat smacked? Always be flat smacking.
Yeah, and David's the best at that. So, all right, now, so tell us a little bit, because we've heard it from other people. I've heard it through the grapevine, that there's somebody special or somebody who may have a few million followers that will be in attendance. What is this all about?
I have a guess. You
can't guess yet till he talks about it, till he tells us what it's about. We don't know.
I want to hear the guess. I want to hear the guess first. I've talked about it enough on a lot of shows, so let's hear it. Let's hear what your guess is.
Is it Dean Odell?
Oh my goodness! Why in the world would it be Dean Odell? People used to. It's funny when people
because you have a Christian slant, Robbie.
No, but he doesn't have millions of fans.
All right, let me guess.
Like
Jared, let me guess.
Your guess. That was wrong.
All right, Daryl Marble.
Daryl doesn't even have millions of fans. I mean, he has a lot of fans. I mean, he's super popular, but no, both of those are wrong.
Daryl won't be there?
Rob Skiba.
Oh, that's a good guess. Good guess.
Let me think here. Rob Skiba's already on the roster. He
is coming.
Posted.
He'll be there?
Be the surprise. Well, there you go. Yeah, Rob Skiba. There we go.
Oh, man. I'm going to pull for Daryl Marble. I wish Daryl Marble was going. It's too bad that
guys, I'm going to give you guys just a bit of a clue. The picture's not on the website.
Oh.
So there you go.
Man, a lot of my guesses are gone.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of guesses, someone I was talking to just before asked about David Avocado Wolf, and I was going to ask you, Jaron, has there been any mention? Maybe have you been able to talk with him at any point in the last few months and see where he's at? Maybe he's going to pop in or what?
I haven't, but I will throw the invite out. I haven't talked to him in quite a few months, so I will check in with him. He's come by my house a few times, stopped by to have some tea and bring me some water that he stole from the Yosemite River. So, no, he's a great guy, and I will definitely reach out. So, David, do you have another guess? So it's millions of fans, and they're not pictured on the FE 2018 website.
Okay, and I'll give you another clue just because I feel generous tonight. I'm going to give you another clue. All right.
We're ready.
People have been asking me, is it a sport? Is it someone like in Hollywood? Have they been on TV? Is it just social media? I would say that this person's been on everywhere. That's all I'm going to say. Everywhere. So every type of platform.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is it Joe Buck?
Joe Buck.
Is it Buzz Aldrin?
Buzz Aldrin. He does have millions of fans. That's a good one, right? No, those answers are incorrect.
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. You think he'd be warmly welcomed? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I really like Bill. I mean, it was a sad story what happened to Bill, to tell you the truth.
Is it Joe Rogan?
You know what? And I want to bring that up because, again, there's been some people that have been 100% confirming that apparently that Joe Rogan and Eddie Bravo with, I think, MGTV are coming to call out the conference. And I'm just laughing because I'm like, well, first of all, if they're trying to secretly come in, I think Joe Rogan and Eddie Bravo are pretty recognizable, even with disguises.
Oh, if you guys don't recognize them, I know what they look like. I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll let you know if they come in.
Ask Jaron. We'll get Jaron on it.
I'll keep my eyes out.
I'll enlist you to make sure to keep your eyes out.
I've seen both of them, so I know what they both look like.
All right. Well, I can't guess anymore. I'm out.
Those were horrible guesses.
That was it?
Horrible. Just horrible.
Oh, man.
That's probably the worst guesses so far of any show I've done. But hey, you get an A for effort.
Wait, let me get one more in. Woody
Wait,
Harrelson.
with those horrible guesses, you're giving us an A? That's like everybody
for
gets
effort.
a trophy.
No. I'm giving you an A for effort because you guys are trying to go polar opposite to how extremely ridiculous those guesses could be. So you get an A for effort of being ridiculous.
My Woody Harrelson wasn't a good guess?
Woody Harrelson. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. I don't know. Besides that, I guess I'm just going to have to show up. Will we have to wait until conference day to know, or is there a chance?
No. I think the plan is that they're going to be releasing the information probably a day before the conference, and they are planning to do some stuff in LA afterwards with some speakers. I've already reached out to you, Jaron, and a few other speakers.
Can we ask a question like, how many Twitter followers do they have?
Oh, yeah, right. That would be so easy to do.
All right.
Like, you'd be up all night, Dave. You'd be up all night. You'd just be sitting there.
I've been up all night, so it doesn't matter. There's no sleeping on flat Earth.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
And you just said that you'd spoke to me about that. So imagine getting a message from Robbie saying that this person that's coming wants to talk to you about doing some stuff in LA, and I have no idea who he's talking about.
Isn't that great?
No,
Isn't it great?
what do you mean is it great? It's not great at all.
I know
it's
it is.
Terrible.
Well, I just think it's just hilarious because everyone's just going crazy. And Mark Sargent, by the way, is the one going the craziest with this. I mean, it is driving him batty. He just wants to know so bad. He's trying some really clever techniques to try to get it out of me, but it's not going to happen. But besides that, the conference is going to be amazing. We're going to be seeing press and media from all over, and I'm talking like Sweden, we got Scotland, we got UK, we got Australia, we've got, I mean, I can't even keep track of how much. We've got Popular Science coming, we've got Forbes magazine, we've got CBS, we've got ABC, they're lining up like crazy that are going to be representing. And then not to mention, we've got, I think to date, at least 6 or 7 documentary crews. That's crews that's plural, that's teams that are coming. Some from Hollywood, some independent, some from some other, I think from the UK. I think The Guardian are coming to shoot a big piece. Some are looking to do a series. It's going to be really interesting what takes place in Denver. So it's going to be an exciting time. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking at the timer right now, and I mean, it can't come around fast enough, that's for sure.
And have you heard about the secret that's going to be released as well out of the corner of David Weiss?
I have, and it's incredibly exciting. There's going to be so many news, like announcements. There's going to be some surprises, and also I've got some surprises that nobody knows, not just with the mystery guests, but some really fun surprises. And I mean, it's going to be great to see Flat Earth Man performing in concert, the great debate with Rob Skiba and Dr. Robert Sugenis, the awesome award show that's going to be at the finale, which we've got a really wonderful thing planned for that as well. So I think in total, it's just going to be a very memorable experience. And what I say to most people when it comes to a conference, remember that like 80% of a conference is really the people. It's the networking, it's the friendships. And I mean, it's so important in a community like we have to really get to know each other, not just the speakers, but the community as a whole. I can't speak highly enough for what it's like when you get to know. I've got to know you really well, Jaron, Dave, all of these people, and it's an amazing experience to get to know you guys, you know, as friends and just people working together and exposing the world's lies. And really, you know, this truth is coming out. The world is waking up.
Yeah, there's nothing like the friendship and the camaraderie. I mean, I fully admit that's you know, a main draw and should be a main draw because it's just awesome to get together with so many people of like minds. I think back to November of last year when just picturing that entire lobby filled with flat earthers and the media and all Chris Pontius and his models. And I mean, there was so much cool stuff out there in the lobby. It was just unbelievable. So I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, and the friendships you make are forever. I mean, even this year when I flew out to Canada, Robbie was there to pick me up at the airport, and just him and I rode back and just getting a chance to talk to you and get to know everybody there has been fantastic and makes me want to do it more and more every year. Now, are we doing one in 2019?
Absolutely. I'll be announcing both Canada and USA for FE 2019. So I'll be announcing the venues, the cities at the very end of this year. So just like I did in Raleigh when I announced Denver, I'll be announcing 2 coming up for 2019. Everything's already been picked, and yeah, it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait. And yeah, I agree with David when he said he appreciates the way that you have doing a good job of welcoming everybody. I totally think that's the way it should be. And we may laugh and scoff at the Pac-Man theory, but when Free Energy was putting out his videos, and a lot of different people were putting out their ideas or maybe their maps. I'm interested in seeing all that stuff. You know, if somebody has a good presentation and the community wants to see it, I totally have faith in Robbie that he would be the first one to invite that person to come and present. You know, isn't that the truth?
Absolutely, yeah. And as I get to know more people, that's the wonderful thing about this is I would say all the time, reach out to me. Let's get to know each other. Because even if you're doing fantastic work in the community, but every other week you're putting out shell videos against most people on the stage, we're probably not going to get along, right? So I don't care what you believe. If you're doing really wonderful work and you're getting along overall with the greater community, you know, you have a place for sure. That's really the qualifiers when it comes to people that are represented. And I mean, if you look at all the people that are represented at Flat Earth International Conference, we come from so many different various beliefs. We disagree with each other with a lot of things, but we all come together because we know that this truth is so important. It's bigger than personalities. It's bigger than beliefs. It's something that we have put together and we go forward and we move together. There's a lot of strength in numbers. And when we divide with one another, again, it's just, we really don't have the power, the energy to go forward. And I'm seeing the evidence of this as we get together and we have that unity in exposing, you know, these lies, especially the fact that we're not a spinning ball flying through space. That's the one thing we all agree on. The second thing that we all agree on, no matter what model you come from, is that the Earth isn't moving.
Right. Yeah. Perfectly still. And what is the latest number? About 25 speakers?
Yeah, it's about 25 speakers in total. That's including the workshop presentations. And like I said, there's something for everyone. It's going to be really, really exciting. I'm definitely trying to take it to the next level, not just with the production, but taking it to the next level with what we're going to present to the world and also the greater community. I think there's going to be empowerment. There's going to be education. There's going to be something there for everyone. And I tell people all the time, come out and experience it before you judge it, because you can say a lot of things, but when you come out and you experience it, I'm pretty much sure you're going to be a believer. It's an incredibly enjoyable time, and it's worth every penny.
Yeah, and you know, Truth Frequency Radio will be well represented there. Quite a few radio hosts on this very radio station will be there. Paul on the Plane will be there. I know Iron Realm Media, also Flat Earthers, and that are on TFR. But Rob Skiba will be there, Zen Garcia will be there, myself, David Weiss. So there's quite a few of us from this station that will be there. So it should be a great event. David, what do you think you're looking forward to most? If you had to guess one thing, name one thing.
The talk on how to speak to family and friends. I hear it's going to be excellent.
I heard it's going to be terrible. That's what I heard. I heard a lot of rumors.
I don't know how you heard that yet because it's not written yet.
Well, I just figured it's going to be terrible. Well, no, I think Matt Long is great. So I'm looking forward to hearing him speak, and your antidotes will be good.
I'm looking forward to just seeing all the people I met last year, meeting all of the new people, and really surrounding myself with people that actually think like us. You know, from the people in our regular lives. You know, they're our friends and everything, but they don't see the world. They're lost in this world. And being around so many people that are awake and aware, the energy is just indescribable. And it's going to be amazingly, just amazing. It's just going to be amazing.
And it's going to be tons of time to party too.
For David, though, is David, how many people do you think are going to be watching sports in the lobby or lounge?
0. That was my observation last year. There was 3 games on. I couldn't even tell you what sport was playing, and I purposely looked around, and nobody was looking up at the televisions at all. It was just conversation, and you listen. You can just listen all around to all the conversations going on. They're all awake and aware conversations. There's no garbage. I mean, no one was even talking about the weather. You know, that's not even a bad thing, but it's because there was so much more to talk about.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And so Wednesday, we've got people arriving early, and we're going to do the Billboard meetup. That's on Wednesday. Then Thursday, we've got the conference. And then that evening, we've got the debate between the two Robs, Robert Sungenis against Rob Skiba. On Friday, we've got a full day, conference of the full day. And then we've got the video awards to end the night. We've got the VIP dinner. And then also on Saturday, Robbie, tell everybody about Gooseneck Tavern.
Yeah, Gooseneck Tavern. We're going to be doing a big after party at Gooseneck Tavern in Denver, and it's going to be wild. And actually, the latest that we've just heard is that ODD is going to be making an appearance there.
All right.
Maybe we can get him to sing a song. Can we get him on the mic?
Quite possibly. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe one step at a time, but if he's down for it, I'm sure. I just think it's wonderful that he's coming out. I've been really excited to be able to meet Matt. He's done incredible work with the community, and I'm just happy to hear that he's planning.
Every single person's excited to see him.
Yeah, me for one, and I just love meeting people that I've watched their videos the whole time. I haven't met Matt yet, but meeting everybody each time has been great. I mean, seeing Patricia, seeing Mark, seeing Rob Skiba, Matt Long, Dave was okay seeing, but you, Robbie, everybody, it's been a great time, and I can't wait. And like we said, we're 9 days away, so it's right around the corner.
It really is. Yeah, it's coming around fast. I've got quite a bit of stuff to do beforehand, but I was just talking to Bob, and yeah, their garage is filling up, and I've got more stuff going to the conference center itself, but it's amazing. And everyone's pitched in. Like I said, Cammie's been helping out behind the scenes, working with organizing all the volunteers, and just everyone's been assisting. I mean, Andrew, a friend of Yahweh, he's helped do the programs. And so many people are helping out. I mean, Dave's been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes as well. And I really appreciate the entire community. It really takes everyone to make this thing a go. I always say that. It's like, it really is important.
And for those of you that get up early and can't wait for the conference to start, I just heard that Iro Landucci will be live streaming from the shower pre-conference.
I did not know that. I'll take that down.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I'm a little bit
sleeping for sure that night. I'll tell you, I'm doing all-nighter for that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully he doesn't shower on road trips, because I do believe I'm taking a road trip from Denver to Los Angeles with Eru after the conference.
I'm jealous. Yeah, that would be so much fun. He's a blast. We had so much fun at the UK convention, and you're going to have a blast. He is just a lot of fun. Iru's an amazing guy, and big thank you to him as well. He's worked on some amazing graphics for the conference, and he's still working as we speak right now. He's probably working on it. So he's been tirelessly working on so much stuff to get it done. And I told him, I said, let me relieve you. No, I'll do it for you. He's just a huge supporter, and he wants to be a big part of everything that we're doing. So big thank you to Iru.
I might have to pass through Vegas on the way home just to show Iru what it's all about. I'm not sure if he's ever been there. From Argentina, doubt it.
Iru's in the live chat, and he likes the idea.
All right. That didn't take much. So, yeah.
Oh, he'd love Vegas. If he hasn't been to Vegas, I mean, he would just be like, whoa, like it's huge on all accounts. But Vegas is definitely worthwhile. I'm not sure if he's been to California. I was mentioning that to you before, Jaron, but I'm sure he's in store for a real treat if he hasn't been to California as well.
Yeah, so that'll be awesome. We do have a break coming up. We thank Robbie for being here. Robbie, do we still have tickets for sale?
We do. We are sold out of the VIPs, but we've got quite a few general admission left. You can get the tickets at fe2018.com. Also, the live stream is available there as well. So go to
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Don't go anywhere. We got another half hour. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw.
The ayahuasca vine is the non-psychoactive component of the South American healing ceremony, ayahuasca. It is known for its anti-parasitic properties, both physically and spiritually, and is considered the spirit of Aya. The hemp plant has been considered a miracle healer by natives around the world for the powerful non-psychoactive component, cannabidiol, also known as CBDs. These miracle plants have been reported to aid relief with everything from inflammation, chronic pain, tremors, anxiety, heart palpitations, depression, and much more. For the first time, we have created the perfect synergy of the hemp and ayahuasca plants to bring you a perfect balance of mind, body, and soul. We call this Aya Life, and you can find it at ayalife.com. That's AYALife.com.
My name is David. I suffered from MS, or multiple sclerosis symptoms, since 1986. For years, doctors tried to help, but didn't give me any real hope. I tried almost everything. I was afraid this was my future, but I did not give up hope. 8 years ago, a healthcare worker told me about Regenistem. I called Regenistem. Regenistem explained how stem cells work. No promises, just a simple explanation of the science. They treated me with respect and understood my journey. For the first time, I felt hope. Now I can jog and snow ski once again. It's been amazing. I have been symptom-free of multiple sclerosis for 8 years. I have learned that stem cell therapy has a broad range of medical therapy, from COPD to chronic pain and diabetic neuropathy. It's It's an amazing therapy. If you want to talk about your chronic pain or your chronic symptoms, call Regenistem today.
Call 305-224-1858. That's 305-224-1858. 305-224-1858.
Once in a decade, a true story comes along that remembers the future. After 6 Amazon bestsellers, I have completed the epic Birth Trilogy, a true story of Earth. By reading the Birth Trilogy, you will journey with the characters from the origin of Earth to its final destiny in a white-knuckle ride that combines the intrigue of Tom Clancy with the epic scope of Prometheus and Interstellar. You will learn more about the purpose of life, the mystery of death, and the true nature of your soul than you thought possible. The Birth Trilogy is now available on Amazon and Kindle. The audio version is a free bonus when you buy the paperback, so even if you're not a great reader, don't worry about it. I read it for you. Use the Amazon app today and buy the Birth Trilogy, spelled B-E-A-R-T-H, or search for my name. I'm Brooks Agnew.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR, your protection from deception.
Welcome back. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Appreciate you joining me. This show is live every Monday from 6 to 8 Pacific, 9 to 11 Eastern Time. That's at tfrlive.com. You can check us out there. Or if you like this YouTube version, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know, and we can maybe simulcast the first hour on Monday nights, and then you can pop over to TFR and listen to the second hour for free as the show stays up for the following week. So, Dave, we just got done talking to Robbie Davidson. We were informed to keep an eye out for MGTV, Eddie Bravo, and Joe Rogan going to crash the party.
Does anybody even know what MTV looks like?
Nope, it just has an astronaut and holding a flag.
Yeah, who cares? Next.
I agree. Yes. So our guesses, I guess, weren't considered too good by David, but it'll be interesting to see, and interesting to see what transpires. And hopefully we get the word out to more people. That's all that matters to me. Have more people look into the question that they may have previously thought was unquestionable. That's the way I grew up, thinking that the ball Earth was truth because that's what I was told, and thought that there must be tons of science behind it. And then when you look into it, you find a lack of quite a bit of it. And we're starting to see a lot of proofs show up in the ways of P900 footage or other little tests and experiments. And basically, the world is waking up. Is that what you're seeing, David?
Absolutely. It's so exciting to see more and more of these tests. I mean, the distance tests over water, I think we have more than enough there. I'm loving these angle of attack tests. They're only getting better and better. People are going to be doing more and more, making them more complex. And it's the other thing. Going back to the angle of attack. When we do these tests, not only do we not have the atmosphere, we are viewing things that are on the ground versus a celestial object that's above another layer of that we can't see through. I don't know. It's really hard to explain. Like, we're looking across the ground, which is a layer we can't see through. But if you look through the atmospheric deck, that's another layer we can't see through, and it merges with the horizon. And we're looking at the sun and the moon above that.
Right. So what you're kind of talking about is a layer
really
of clouds.
Hard to explain.
Right, a layer of clouds. I like when you call it the cloud deck. It's obviously if the clouds go off into the distance, they will accumulate and pack in and then that merges in with the horizon, which is an apparent position, not an actual physical location. If you tried to go touch the horizon, well, the horizon just moves away from you. But no, I totally agree, and I think that some of these angle of attack videos are important because of the whole issue with people thinking that boats disappearing from the bottom up mean that the Earth is curved, when we're seeing that on extremely short distances of hundreds of feet, where we're seeing things that are close to the ground be obscured because of the angle of attack.
We were talking earlier this week about the test that Mitchell did with the mirror and the lights. I think you did a video on it, where you can actually see a light in a mirror that's facing down that's way above that mirror. And we were talking, we're like, that doesn't make any sense, but it works.
Right. Yeah, no, I think it's one of the most difficult things to comprehend is the way that perspective works. Part of that because, we certainly were never taught it. I don't know about you, but it wasn't something that was discussed. How about for you? Do you remember any discussion of that in school?
I do remember in elementary school that we had lots of art classes on perspective, and they pretty much took it out of school after that. I'm a little older than you, so they were still teaching a few things that were useful in school back then.
Well, not anymore. I'll be the first one to tell you that. Let's head back to the phones. We do have a few calls, and let's go. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from? All right. That didn't go very well. Let's try that again. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from? I can hear
Hello.
you. There you are. You're on with Jeranism. What's up?
Hey, so I've been following along quite closely. I know I've listened to pretty much everything you guys have done for, over the years. And I guess my question, kind of with the conference coming up, trying to, make it seem like it's not a self-congratulatory kind of just ceremony where we all kind of reiterate all the stuff we already know and hand out awards. But I guess my question would be, like, what's the next step? In other words, what I'm trying to focus on is how do you really help humanity with the knowledge in the sense of new technologies? So when I listen to Globebusters and I listen to Bob talk about, anti-gravity is not the right word, but whether it's volume, frequency, resonance, whatever it is, like what, in your mind, what are the technologies that should be coming out because of this new information that you guys have been honing in on in the next few years? It's not something where you have to wait for the establishment to come out with the new version of the new device that we already don't need. This body of knowledge and the wealth of wisdom that can kind of come about because of this insight has to be grand. But in your eyes, what is the next step? What's going to happen? Otherwise, it's just, the conference is great. I'd love it if I could go myself, but I got to work, unfortunately. But where do you see this all going?
Well, I totally agree with you on one level, and the other, the problem with some of the way you describe new technology is that a lot of that stuff would take money, in my opinion. And if we got the right person behind it, I do think some things can happen worldwide. What's important to me, and why I think the conference is important, and why I think that speaking out is important, is because the way I look at it is if we would have questioned things in my generation, and I'm almost 40, so if you were born in the 70s or 80s, you maybe will relate that we weren't questioning any of the things that we were taught in class. It just wasn't something you did. There was no questions. You just learned, and that's the way it was. I don't remember anybody ever trying to buck that trend. I've often said before that you could not come out of fourth grade and not be a believer in the ball earth. It just was impossible. And I think that we've already changed that. I think that now, with the amount of information that's out there, parents might be more inclined to tell their children to be skeptical of some things that they hear when being taught. This is something I was never told. I was never told to be skeptical. And I think that this can change in one generation, because what it really will take is students asking the questions in classes. And just recently there was some talk about a Cosmos festival or something where Neil deGrasse was there. He was talking about it, and there was teachers there that were asking him, hey, as teachers, how do we handle children asking questions about flat Earth? And I thought that was interesting, because they're fine teaching the curriculum, but when the questions start being asked, they need to go to the authority and say, hey, how do we handle these children asking these questions? So if our teachers are not even taught to have the ability to respond, well, then there's a problem. And I think that that will start to come out, and it can really change in a generation. And that's what I'm looking at, is the more conferences we do like this, the more people find out that it is a thing and that they can look into it, and the more they start allowing their children to be skeptical of things that they learn in school. I mean, I would never tell my son to go to school and ignore what he's being taught. You know, it's not what I tell him. You know, if he wants to go to school and he wanted to, he was homeschooled for 7th and 8th grade, but he wanted to go to high school. And when he did, I told him, hey, just make sure you are skeptical of what you hear. You have to regurgitate it. You got to get it right on a test. But just remember, not everything we're taught necessarily means it's the truth. And you just need to look at Columbus and the story of the Pilgrims and you know, all the stories that we're told that we know are no longer true, that were just part of a narrative. So that's what's important to me, is those things. As far as the technology, I mean, David, do you have an answer on that as far as what technologies you expect to come out of this?
What's the question exactly?
Well, he's saying, based on watching Globebusters and hearing Bob talk about things that Bob talks about, and maybe the maybe different kind of energy sources. I don't know what he's really getting at, but he's saying, what kind of technology do you expect to come out because of this flat Earth awakening? I'm not sure if it's a technology thing personally.
I think it is. I think it's a hiding of technology. If you I have linked. It's on
exactly right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's on the Flat Earth Facebook page, and it's linked in our last podcast. But there's this guy Bosley, last name's Bosley, did a report in the 1850s. There was anti-gravitic gigantic airships all over the Earth, traveling all over. So they had free energy. They probably had, access to primary water. And if you have free energy and primary water, you are uncontrollable, because you can do anything. You can just live.
Right. You don't need government to protect you.
I think it's all a suppression of that. That is what's going on. They've turned us into slaves by stealing that very advanced technology. You look at all of the ancient structures and stuff. We can't build that stuff today, but they could back then with this technology. So. That's what I think is going to come out of it. When people wake up and find out what's been stolen from us, that's where everything changes.
So, caller, is that kind of your question about,
So, like,
go ahead.
Yeah, that definitely answers in the sense of the suppression, because I think that some of the free energy technology, the simple machines that people can make at home, those videos on YouTube, there's something to it. There's not one I can pick out and say, oh, this one's it. But I have a feeling that with this wealth of knowledge that's coming out, people who then, kind of key on to it are then going to be that much more awake and able to watch a video on free energy or make a device at home that they would never otherwise have been open to the potential of even paying attention to that, before. But I kind of wanted to ask you another question. One was, do you see South Park covering this real quick, and how hilarious is it going to be? And two, do you think this is going to turn ugly? I mean, I was a class clown. I'm ready to piss off every high school teacher I can. I'm a special effects artist. I travel internationally for work now, but man, I'm furious because of my upbringing, and what a waste. I forget the Bukowski quote, but nobody's meant to wake up at 6 and force eat and shit to sit in a class all day. I mean, for people who can do that, do it well, and they don't realize it's intense suffering and it's all garbage nonsense. Who's furious? So I want to see South Park cover it, but also, do you think it's going to turn ugly? I mean, I want it to for entertainment's sake.
Well, thanks for the call. I appreciate that. And I mean, I guess if you're asking me for entertainment's sake, I'm definitely hoping to have a front row seat to see it all take place, because I don't really see how it's going to come out. When you've lied to the entire world, I've often voiced this. I think it's so interesting. I mean, imagine all of the movies that start with the globe Earth, and all the movies that have the globe Earth in it, or the TV shows, Third Rock from the Sun, all these other logos, and to see all of that come crashing down. As far as getting angry, though, I think a lot of people are angry. But I think you have to, for me at least, you have to get over that, because I'm not sure that that's totally constructive. I'm trying to look at it. Yeah, I'm upset. But I also know that if a deal had to be made between NASA just shutting down and nobody ever getting in trouble, I'll take that in a heartbeat. It's not like I want to see people punished for this. I just want to see it stop. I really want to see the end of the space fantasy. The entire thing is so obviously a fraud. To those who can just open their eyes and realize that we're talking about one company that basically has control of all of space. All the images that you see, all the satellite images, everything goes through them. And people think, oh, no, there's satellites up there that the data goes to such and such college. And I'll show you emails back and forth that I've had with colleges where I ask them, these data that you're getting from these satellites, is it hit you first? And they say, oh, no, it goes through a processing plant. It goes to the NOAA. It goes through another computer processor. We get it, and it could be anywhere from minutes to hours to days later. So once you realize that all this data that we're getting is going through one person's hands or one organization's hands, and people may say, well, what about Roscosmos? When we know they work directly with NASA. I mean, that's the whole thing. And if they're both scamming the entire citizens, all the citizens of their countries, they're going to protect each other. And so it becomes a situation where there needs to be some evidence and proof of this space travel, and there just isn't. I mean, when you go back, all you need to do is look in the 70s, 80s, 90s. That footage is garbage. It's models done in a studio. It's obvious. And now with the green screen technology that they have, they're able to do a lot more fancy stuff. But I think that, I don't know, to me, just getting angry is not as constructive as trying to get the word out there, because people need to be talking about it, and that's the only way they're going to realize that NASA isn't the pretty boy, good old boy that they have shown themselves to be. They have the best PR department that there is, and that's all that they've been about, excuse me, for 50 years is their PR. They're very good at making people think that they're out there doing fantastic things, finding TRAPPIST planets, finding asteroids that are shaped like skulls on Halloween, finding jack-o'-lantern images of the sun on Halloween. These are the kind of things that they've done for all these years. We're growing lettuce for the first time in space for the 18th time. These stories just keep repeating themselves. We got more water found on Mars again. We've got the Tesla car out going past Mars today. They have to put themselves in the news every day with some nonsense story, and it has to be so crazy that people just go like, wow, NASA is so smart. Look what they're doing. They're finding planets in the TRAPPIST galaxy out, some uncountable amount of trillions of miles away. It's just ridiculous. Dave, your thoughts, or did you fall asleep?
It's absolutely insane, and the lie is so big that most people just can't believe that it could be that big. Therefore, they don't need to even check, and they just believe it.
Yeah, I mean,
here's the problem with the world: 99% of us.
Do we have time? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Are trusting good people.
Yeah, and somebody took advantage of that.
The evil that's in this world.
Right, that's been taken advantage of, and that is we're very trusting. You want to trust another human. You want to believe what they tell you, and yeah, if you become too trusting, then you have to be ready because there's tons of people that are just waiting to take advantage of that. And I've told the story before about leaving money on your counter during a party at your house, and all your friends are over, and if you left a $100 bill on the counter, it may make it to the end of the party, it may not. But if you then had a situation where every person was told as they entered the party, hey, you can take that $100 bill and nobody will ever know. Well, all of a sudden, half the people there are going to take that money from you. And if you start increasing that dollar amount to where you're talking about millions of dollars, then anybody will lie to your face. And it needs to be recognized. It's not something that you can just listen to mainstream media or these articles that come out and say, oh, the moon landings would have been exposed in a matter of 4 years. You need to recognize that these people will take advantage if possible, and they have and will continue to do so until we stop it. So I think we just got to step up and put our foot down and really start exposing it all because it's right in front of us. I mean, that's the thing. They're not hiding it anymore.
I love the excuse. They couldn't even keep a blowjob a secret.
Oh,
and that's their proof.
Right. Yep. Yeah, no, that's
and a lot of people, a lot of beginner people that are just hearing about flat Earth, they'll come with you. Well, what? How did Columbus discover America then? Didn't he sail over the curve? Would he go underneath the flat Earth? I'm like, no, he just sailed straight across the ocean.
Right. He just
sailed
around
across the flat ocean to the next shoreline.
Yeah,
and
no.
They're like, oh,
imagine that. Yeah, I mean,
imagine that.
That's the thing is you have to think of all the people that you've told, and their first response is always, well, where is it night? So how is it night if we've got a flat Earth? So when you got people asking questions like that, you have to realize that there's so many people out there still that can't even grasp the idea of the ball Earth being a deception. And I know this because I was one of them. I was one of them who, my wife said, could the Earth be flat? And I said, no, you're crazy. How do boats go around? How do planes go around it? Obviously, the Earth is a ball. And I just kind of dismissed it. And it wasn't until, and it was my eye-opening moment, when I first saw that azimuthal equidistant map, and I realized that people could fly around the Earth, that boats could go around the Earth, and it be a flat and level plane. And then all the questions started coming to me like, oh, shoot, well, there surely must be circumnavigation, because circumnavigation would actually disprove the AE map. It would disprove that flat Earth idea. If people could go around the North to the South Pole, because clearly that is impossible on a center-based azimuthal equidistant polar map. And when you realize that there is nobody who's done that, there is, 2 or 3 people that have claimed to do it. One of them is a friend of a queen and a Freemason, and the third Baron of the Danbury, whatever, whatever. I don't know what they call those things.
There's a new guy going to do it that just announced that he's going to cross Antarctica by himself.
I saw him. Is he, what age is he, Dave?
33.
He is 33. Yes, a 33-year-old.
That's just a coincidence, Jaron. Stop it with your numerology.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, and the last person that tried to do it, they actually claimed died. That was Henry Worcester, I believe, that was going to try and... But if you followed his, which I did, you follow his website as he tried to go across, there would often be pictures of him. He's supposedly trekking it alone, but there's pictures of him like a half a mile away. This is supposed to be on his trek. Well, who took that picture? Did you set the camera and then walk a half mile away and then take the picture and then walk back and get your camera? It's just ridiculous. And then he was supposedly died, but people brought up tons of stuff about that thing. There was one case where he claimed to have broken a tooth down there, and then 2 days later posted a selfie of himself with the tooth. And it's just like, wait, 2 days ago you said you blew out that tooth, and then the pictures after that started to have no tooth. But I mean, and then there was a lot of people that called the hospital that supposedly he went to when they pronounced him dead, and everybody at the hospital refused to talk to anyone about the case at all. Wouldn't even speak at all about it. So it's just very interesting stuff. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this 33-year-old. Will we see much of the same photographs of him from half mile or a mile away walking in the snow by himself, supposedly doing it unattended, or what do they call it? Unsupported. And but will there be pictures of him? Who's supporting him? I mean, it's just crazy what they expect people to believe. But I did see that story. Dave, do you remember when he's starting that trek? I always like to keep track of those.
I do not. Is it a special date?
No, I don't know when he's starting it, but I like to keep track of those. It's just like I like to watch the Around Antarctica race that they just recently had, where it took 100 days for a boat to go around the bottom of the globe Earth. And when they got back, you could check their trackings and everything, and they clocked in at 3 to 4 to 5 knots, which is just crazy. Those boats, they were in a 72-foot, now I can't remember the name of the boat. The name of the boat is Catharsis, but the Catharsis 2, but I can't remember the type of boat that it is. I can't recall. But it's a 72-foot boat, and when you look it up, it's got a top speed of 25 miles or 25 knots. But yet they claim to have gone 4 knots and made it in 100 days around what would only be about 13,000-mile trek, if you believe in the globe Earth. What seems to make more sense is multiply that out, and they went around, just like we talked about with Magellan and with Captain Cook and these guys who are just simply sailing around the pond that contains the Earth. So I don't know. That's my thing. And again, so I'm just saying, when you wake up to those things, like the way that my mind was completely blocked from the idea of people flying around the earth, boats going around the earth. How could this be possible? If, my mind just couldn't fathom it until I saw the azimuthal equidistant map. So I think there's so many more people out in the world like that just haven't had a chance to really think about it, because we were all taught in school that boats would fall off the edge, right? That they would, we get all those pictures of the boat that's going towards the end of the flat earth to fall off. And these are the ways they needed to teach you, and that's why they told you that water went down the opposite direction in the southern hemisphere when it actually doesn't. These things were lies that were told so that you would believe in their space fantasy. And when you adhere to this religion, and it's absolutely a religion, if you believe that the religious people who read religious texts, they believe those texts are without error, and the same is true for an astrophysicist who believes that the texts of Newton are without error, or believes these are things that were taught to them, and they're going to go about preaching the same thing. So it's absolutely a religion in every way. So I don't know, David, your opinion on that?
Nothing more to add. It's just the depth of the lie again is just so massive that it's hard for even me to understand sometimes. But once you see it, like you're in the shower, you can't unsee it.
Well, please do not send me that video. That's a demand. Do you have about 2 minutes? Do you want to get your apology in now or next week? When do you plan on doing it?
No, next week. We'll do next week.
All right, David's going to apologize for calling me a Jesuit and somebody.
Did you not go to a Jesuit school? Were you not Jesuit trained as a child?
I absolutely went to a Jesuit high school. I absolutely was trained and taught by Jesuit priests. Absolutely. Okay. Now, that doesn't make you a Jesuit. It makes you trained at one of the, I believe there's 55 or 60 Jesuit high schools in the country. Bellarmine is where I went, and it was, I believe, the earliest high school in California. I could be off on that one. One of the first.
So I am not correct in saying Sharon is a Jesuit?
No, I'm not a Jesuit. You're not right. Sharon is not a Jesuit. Okay?
Okay.
So I accept that apology. Thank you very much. Everybody heard that. An apology for saying that I hide the truth and I'm a Jesuit. And for saying that stars are souls and ethereal beings. That's another thing David said that he wanted to apologize for. Management told me.
I did not.
You did not what?
I did not apologize for that.
No, you did. Everybody just heard it. It was a very sincere apology.
I don't think I could do the show anymore. I just realized Jeranism Raw Monday night is a World Wrestling Federation thing. I just put that together.
World Wrestling Federation. It hasn't been called the WWF.
It's set
in
up
years.
like pro wrestling.
It's set up. Yeah, exactly. You didn't know that?
I didn't even know that until just now.
Oh, this show is totally scripted.
Oh.
This is where we get in a fight. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. We appreciate you guys for listening in. Leave a comment if you want to see us on YouTube. If not, we'll just continue doing this every Monday night from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific on True Frequency Radio. Till next time, guys, this has been Jeranism and David Weiss. Peace.
Peace.
Stars are not souls. Not ethereal beings. You're not sending me this video, are you?
No. You destroyed the poor Ginger Sugar had 6 viewers, and one of them was me.
You didn't bring it up, and he didn't call in.
No, he's probably heartbroken.
He's probably pissed.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean, based on his viewers, not very many people want to see it on YouTube to simulcast.
Nobody knows about it. I mean, who goes? That's. Yeah.
Nobody knows about what. No, his thing? Yeah, no, nobody does. Well, we talk about it on there.
We're still live.
Oh, are we still live?
Are you still live?
I have no idea. Oh, on
Bob's,
YouTube.
Everyone's saying we're still live.
Hello, guys. We're still live. How are you?
I remember when you and Bob did that once.
Did we say anything bad?
I don't think so.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't even think about it. I hung up on the Skype call and thought that ended it, but I do believe we're still live on YouTube. So hello, everyone. Thank you for
we're on YouTube. That's right. We're still live on YouTube.
TFR should be at break. And Iru's laughing at us.
That's so funny.
Eru, do not send me any videos of you in the shower.
Eru, I want to do that live stream. I will subscribe.
I don't want to see it. No, please don't, Eru. Thank you, everyone, for the super chats. I see now that we had a lot of super chats. The Earth is seriously flat a bunch of times, so thank you for that. We really appreciate it. I guess this is like the after show. This is the live and uncut. I'm glad you didn't say anything stupid.
No, well, I feel bad for Ginger, but Ginger, come on over here. There's more people to talk to, and you can and make him a moderator.
Is he not a moderator? Oh, yeah, I'll make you a moderator.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe people won't like to hear the show on YouTube, so I don't know. Maybe they'll just prefer to listen to it on TFR, or it is free every week. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So we'll have to see. But we do love Ginger Sugarbush 905. I don't think that, the fact that we can get his screen name correctly is pretty impressive now.
True.
Right. And the Sugar Bushwhackers. So anyway, Dave, any final things to say to the YouTube crowd?
No, that is it. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at the conference. And if you're not coming to the conference, you really should if you can make it. It's I
totally agree.
So much fun. If you're here because you're looking for Flat Earth conversation, you're in the chat looking for Flat Earth chat. It's totally worth it. It's worth the trip.
Yeah, and if you can't make it, just tune in. I thought it was awesome to hear that 80% of it would be telecast live. That'll be awesome. So that people that can't make it, because I know it's hard to get there, wherever it might be. So if you can't make it to Denver this year, make sure you check it out.
Here, make Hero a moderator.
Now? So you asking me to do this now?
Yeah, he's crying. He wants to be a moderator.
I have my thing open.
I think he wants to post a video.
Where is he?
He's in the bottom of the chat.
Nurapar Todos, Iru Landucci, Tierra Plana, ha. I found him.
By the way, that name is just too long.
It didn't used to be that long.
It's worse than Ginger Sugarbush 905.
I don't know about that.
What does it mean?
Nur Paratodos. Something for all. Peace for all? Sleep for all. It might be sleep for all. Let me look that up. I don't know. He's told me before, too. That shows me my memory's gone. I don't know. Can you tell us what it means? Or do I have to go to Google Translate, where I'm sure it will not be translated correctly? And Eru was named a moderator. Is Ginger Sugarbush in the chat? If you say hello, I'll moderate him as well. I know. I'm just really excited about it. I think it's good. I know a lot of people said, there'll be nothing new coming out at the conference. I got some new stuff to show. I'm excited for my presentation. I'm excited to see which celebrity will be there, or whoever that might be, because I think it's just a sign of this going even larger. And I remember when David Avocado Wolf called me way back when, this is probably close to 3 years ago now, and told me that he was a flat earther and that he wasn't really ready to come out yet, but that it would be soon, and to kind of keep his name down, which I did for a while. And then he came out shortly after that. And we've seen that with a lot of people. We've seen it with Kyrie Irving, and Shaq made a statement, all these people. But I think the more that comes out, the more that it hits the mainstream, the more people that are going to look into this. I hope they find my videos. I hope they find the clues. I hope they find some of the other great videos, Subtle Infinity, all the great channels that I listen to. I hope that people find and watch Wide Awake, one of the best channels for observations. And Dave, I don't know if I told you this, but I saw the other day in the chat that Dave from Wide Awake is thinking of hanging up his flat Earth observation boots, and I thought that was so sad to see. And I know why he might be thinking that. It's because he's done so many good videos, and I don't think a lot of them have nearly the amount of views that they should. But I hope that he realizes how important his channels and his videos are to me, and just being able to basically be as if I'm in Florida, observing the horizon like he has, and show me what happens with boats as they basically fade out, just like the sun fades out in your videos. The same thing happens to boats as they head off towards the horizon. There's just so many good content producers out there. Good Times for All, Zachary Zabala. I could name 1,000 channels that have some of the best. I mean, Curious Life. I just posted a video yesterday by Curious Life. One of the best videos I've ever seen is that video I posted on perspective and angular resolution and visual acuity.
Yeah, and to say that nothing new is coming out at the conference, sure, you can get this information by sitting home alone and staring at YouTube. But if you go to the conference, you're collaborating with people, you're sharing ideas, the energy is there. There's so many new ideas that come out of the conference, in my opinion, that it's very important. And then the other thing is the energy and the size of the conference and the media attention. That's worth it right there. I mean, the amount of media that this will get and the amount of well-presented speakers that are going to be there and representing. And this year we're even more educated than we were last year. I really think that it's going to make a difference to the point where the elite are basically going to have to flip the table over and turn the lights out and kill 90% of us.
Well, that's great.
To stop the movement.
Well, I didn't bring it up on the show, but I do. I think most people have heard. Or Dave, do you know where the plan is for the 2019?
It's not a cruise ship.
Yeah. What you just mentioned seems like it would be easier to do on this cruise ship.
But here's the thing: it's on a cruise ship from Santiago to Auckland.
I don't think that is the case, considering one doesn't exist. But yeah, so I don't like to give them any ideas. I don't see them taking out the entire building in Denver. But then again, I've seen one or two cruise ships go down in my day.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I'll be bringing a life raft, and there'll be space for 3 others on my life raft if you are joining. So I heard that. I'm not sure if that is the truth. That's a rumor. I think he showed a video in Canada, but I was behind the screen and didn't really get to see it. So
hey, while you're talking, moderate Ginger Sugarbush in the chat.
All right. Niagara Falls
just up a little bit.
And I will find him. Thank you very much. I don't see him. Ace McLeod, shout out there.
Right above Ace, a little bit higher.
Okay, I'm still going. I see Ace again. I see Karen again. Hey, Karen. Hey, Orphan Red.
You went too high.
Up. He's back down. Is that Vegan Warrior? Vegan Warrior, man, I haven't talked to you in a while. I did see one of your videos. Oh, man, it's 2 weeks ago. But nice to see you here. I hope you're doing well. And Wide Awake is there too. Awesome. That is awesome. I was trying to answer my Skype, but it was you guys. Oh, what? I don't know. Is he talking to me? I don't see. Oh, I do see him. Sorry, there he is. Yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks. So yeah, there will be no Jeranism Raw next week. I will be on the road on the way to Denver. But I think I should be back. Well, depending now if Iru wants to stop in Vegas, maybe we won't be back in time. You'll be doing the show solo, which will be a half hour of you talking and falling asleep, I'm guessing.
Thanks.
Hey, it might happen. All right, so any final words before we actually really do go offline?
No, that is all, man. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I hope it was entertaining and informative.
As always, yeah, and I won't even play the outro since people told me it's too long. I've been told that too many times now. So you won't get an outro. You'll just get us saying, till next time, do your own research, because when you do, you'll never again believe what you've been taught. See you guys at the conference. See you in Denver. Till then, peace.
Later.